One of my earliest memories as a child is waking up one morning in my bed and I can't breathe. I try to take a breath, but I can't. I feel as if I'm being smothered, suffocated. I get hysterical. I start to cry. So I jump out of my bed, I run down the hall, and luckily, my dad is a doctor. He would give me my first inhaler, and that would be the beginning of a very painful, problematic, and primitive way to diagnose and treat my asthma. So asthma is currently the most common chronic disease in the U.S. today. It accounts for 25% of all ER visits, and there's a 40% misdiagnosis rate of the disease. That misdiagnosis rate leads to $6 billion in lost productivity in a $56 billion market. And 1 in 10 people in the U.S. are asthmatic, just like myself. So we've broken that lost $6 billion down into 4 things, which are ER staffing costs, unnecessary patient visits, late-stage onset of asthma in adults, and misdiagnosis, or incorrect medications. And we've also found out that the average hospital visit per asthma-related incidence is $6,600. How about our nation's youth? How does this chronic disease affect them? It costs $70 a day to fund a student. With over 15 million missed school days each year due to asthma-related illness, there's over $1 billion in lost funding. So not only are the schools losing money, but the kids are missing school for something that can be prevented and monitored. We've invented a revolutionary smartphone-based imaging system. Our device is light and portable, and we designed it with patient utility and simplicity in mind. Our device fits in your pocket and works in conjunction with an app to provide a user-friendly interface. Current asthma diagnosis is painful. You see these images? They bring back horrible memories from my childhood. Allergy tests, blood tests, spirometry. And BioLum is here to change this. We've invented a revolutionary, non-invasive, patented chemiluminescent solution that can determine the presence of disease in less than 1 minute. Not only is current asthma diagnosis painful, it's inaccurate. There's a 40% misdiagnosis rate, and BioLum provides a definitive solution. Our device currently has an accuracy of 95% and utilizes the latest in medical technology, which is the use of disease biomarkers as a means of determining the severity and presence of disease. BioLum wants to completely shift and change the way this chronic illness is dealt with on a day-to-day basis. So we've invented a smartphone-based imaging system that can connect to any smartphone via a Bluetooth connection. We provide the first clear and easy way to determine the presence of asthma. We believe we have the best diagnostic as well as personal management device for asthma on the market. So how does it work? You begin by adding a small amount of saliva to a test tube. In the test tube, your saliva mixes with our specially synthesized chemical solution. As your saliva mixes with the solution, a reaction occurs and a glow is emitted, like a glow stick. You place the test tube in our device records the reaction, and then transmits the data to the phone and is able to determine the presence and severity of disease in less than 1 minute. Our app provides several valuable advantages. It allows us to customize treatment for each patient, as well as have the ability to understand the effectiveness of certain medications. Along with these personal advantages, our app allows us to identify repeat customers and systematically gain valuable data such as regional, seasonal, and occupational trends. And with this data, we plan to improve asthma research and help treat this illness that plagues so many. We also provide several valuable advantages to hospitals and plan to reduce much of the cost associated with the disease. We plan to reduce patient in time, improve diagnostic accuracy, and improve preventative action taken against the disease. Late-stage onset of asthma in adults is being misdiagnosed with other chronic coughing illnesses, such as bronchitis, COPD, and sinus infections. For implementation, we plan to begin by giving the device to large hospitals. By doing so, we will be quickly accepted and recognized as the gold standard. Then we will reach out to other doctors, pediatricians, nurses, public schools, homes, and eventually third world countries where little to no data exists for this disease. We'll begin our marketing strategy by hosting a number of seminars which will educate doctors and nurses about BioLum and our innovative product. Then we will utilize sales reps to reach a national market. And eventually we will attend international trade shows to reach the global market. how do we stack up against the competition? There haven't been any technological improvements in the asthma industry for decades, and the same methods of diagnosis have been used for years. We provide the first low-cost, painless, point-of-care, smartphone-based imaging system. We also provide quantifiable data, quick results, and the highest level of accuracy. I'm Edward Allegra. I'm the CEO. I have a major in economics with a minor in biology and a focus on pre-med. Our CFO and COO is Jack Reynolds, who has a major in finance and markets and culture. And then our CTO is Miguel Kimbara, who has a major in accounting with a minor in engineering. For product development, we need to focus on research and development over the next 5 to 6 months. Then we'll begin clinical trials, and once we have enough data, we'll approach the FDA seeking 510(k) exemption. We'll also develop our app over the next 4 to 5 months. Here we've broken down our income statement and the amazing investment opportunity we have to present to you today. We plan to hit the market in Q1 of 2016. Approximately 20% of the Texas population takes annual physical preventative exams. We plan to capture only 20% of that market. And the year after, we'll plan to capture 40% of that Texas market. Here we've broken down our expenses. In the first year, we plan to spend the most on app development, marketing, and research and development. And then in 2016, we plan to spend $1.6 million. And in 2017, we plan to spend $2.3 million, with a greater focus on research and development as we become a larger biotech firm. BioLum presents an amazing investor opportunity. In the third year, we plan to have $22 million in sales. And comparable medical device companies are valued at 3 times sales. We're currently seeking an investment of $1 million for 25% of the company. So for immediate implementation, there's a few key things we want to focus on in order to succeed. We've hired an electrical engineer who will help us finalize product design, and Cardinal Health has pitched in some money to help with this process. We've also begun app development with the Unity Group out in Frisco, Texas, and once we finish that, we'll begin our clinical trials with the Cooper Medical School in New Jersey. With the data we receive from our clinical trials, we'll approach the FDA seeking 510(k) exemption, and then we'll begin production with the Stephen Gould Corporation out in Silicon Valley. So BioLum has structured itself as a growth company, and we plan to sell to a larger medical device company. We will build and develop BioLum over the course of the next few years, and then sell it, seeking the highest return for our investors. Thank you.
Why would you get a 510(k) exemption?
So we're diagnosed. So the question was, why are we seeking a 510(k) exemption? So 510(k) exemption applies to devices that give you a non-invasive diagnostic result. So our device is non-invasive. We use a simple biological sample, saliva, and then we're able to test for the severity and presence of the disease with our device.
One more follow-up. Who created the IP?
So the intellectual property has been filed by SMU because the technology was developed here on their campus. SMU has exclusively licensed us the IP, and we've filed the utility patent on all aspects of the system.
So as a follow-up to that, what professor did it, and are they still around, and why aren't they on your advisory board?
So Professor Alexander Lippert, he has a PhD from Duke University. He's currently a chemistry professor here. We've been working with him. He has a stake in the company, and he's on our board.
I had a follow-up question to the process. When you kind of mapped out your timeline, it seemed really compressed because I think it takes a lot more time than what we have here for clinical trials. And I thought that maybe you could talk a little bit about your investment ask. I think clinical trials are going to be a little bit more expensive than what you're anticipating. So what's your plan to sort of compensate for that?
So we've already raised over a little more than $200,000 in working capital. And we're also working with the Cooper Medical School and a hospital that they own as well. They're going to be providing us the resources to do the clinical trials. They've set aside, I want to say, 1,000 students to perform these trials for us. So we aren't expecting the cost to be too high.
So the bioluminescent effect of adding the saliva to your liquid, is just the change in color visible enough to tell if there's something something to be concerned about, or is it the app? I mean, what additional value does the app give you, or the device, than just the change in color that you can visibly see?
So by observing the change in color with our device, we're able to have color change as well as the kinetics of the reaction when the change occurs. And then by doing this, we transmit the data to an app that provides all the information and hardware necessary to transmit this data, process the data.
So, like, for emerging markets, can they just use it by looking at the change in color without having an app? Would that work?
No, you need the device.
You need a device.
In order to observe the reaction.
Okay.
Last question.
Is this applicable in other types of disease scenarios?
So we're currently looking into several other disease biomarkers which we can observe with our device. We've done some work with looking at tuberculosis and exhaled breath condensate, as well as several other disease biomarkers found in saliva, such as ketone bodies for the detection of diabetes.